Studies have indeed explored overhead costs in smaller versus larger machine shops. Generally, these studies indicate that larger shops tend to have lower overhead costs per man-hour compared to their smaller counterparts. For example, a study from the University of Wisconsin-Madison revealed that small machine shops, those with less than 20 employees, averaged an overhead rate of 25%. In contrast, larger machine shops, defined as those with over 100 employees, had an average overhead rate of just 15%. This discrepancy is often attributed to several key factors. Firstly, economies of scale play a significant role. Larger shops have the advantage of purchasing materials and supplies in larger quantities, often resulting in lower per unit costs. This bulk purchasing power gives them a cost advantage that smaller shops typically cannot achieve. Furthermore, larger shops can distribute the cost of expensive capital equipment, such as computer numerical control CNC machines or specialized tooling, across a higher number of man-hours, thereby reducing the overhead cost allocated to each man-hour of labor. Secondly, specialization contributes to lower overhead in larger shops. These shops often specialize in particular types of machining operations. This allows them to refine their processes, reduce waste, and increase efficiency. Specialization enables investment in specialized equipment tailored to specific tasks, further boosting productivity and lowering costs. Examples include focusing on high-volume production of a specific component or specializing in machining exotic materials. Thirdly, management efficiency tends to be higher in larger shops. They often implement more formalized management systems, which can streamline operations and reduce overhead costs. These systems include improved planning, scheduling, waste reduction strategies, and enhanced employee productivity initiatives. For example, implementing a robust enterprise resource planning (ERP) system can optimize resource allocation and minimize downtime. However, it is essential to recognize that the relationship between shop size and overhead costs isn't always straightforward. Some small shops manage to maintain very low overhead costs, while some larger shops experience surprisingly high overhead. Various factors can influence overhead costs, including the nature of the work performed, the shop's location, and the owner's management style. For instance, a small shop specializing in high-precision, low-volume work might command premium pricing that offsets higher overhead costs. The type of work being done significantly impacts overhead. Complex, custom machining requires highly skilled labor, specialized tooling, and extensive setup time. Shops specializing in this type of work will naturally have higher overhead compared to those performing simpler, repetitive tasks. The location of the shop also plays a role. Shops in areas with high rent, utilities, and labor costs will face higher overhead. Conversely, shops in rural areas with lower costs of living may have lower overhead. Management style is another critical factor. A well-managed shop, regardless of size, can effectively control costs and improve efficiency. Poor management practices can lead to wasted resources, inefficiencies, and ultimately higher overhead. Furthermore, consider the different cost categories that make up overhead. Rent or mortgage payments for the shop space are a significant expense. Utility costs, including electricity, water, and gas, can also be substantial. Insurance premiums covering property, liability, and workers' compensation contribute to overhead. Depreciation of equipment is another important consideration, reflecting the gradual decline in value of machinery and tools. Maintenance and repairs of equipment are necessary to keep the shop running smoothly. Office supplies and administrative expenses add to the overall overhead burden. Marketing and advertising costs are incurred to attract new customers. Finally, taxes, including property taxes and business taxes, are a significant component of overhead. To illustrate, let's consider a hypothetical example. Imagine a small machine shop with 5 employees. Their monthly rent is $3,000, utilities cost $1,000, insurance is $500, and other overhead expenses amount to $1,500. This totals $6,000 in monthly overhead. If each employee works 160 hours per month, the total man hours are 800. The overhead cost per man-hour is $6,000 divided by 800 hours, which equals $7.50 per man-hour. Now consider a larger machine shop with 30 employees. Their monthly rent is $10,000, utilities cost $3,000, insurance is $1,500, and other overhead expenses amount to $5,500. This totals $20,000 in monthly overhead. If each employee works 160 hours per month, the total man-hours are 4,800. The overhead cost per man-hour is $20,000 divided by 4,800 hours, which equals $4.17 per man-hour. This example demonstrates how spreading overhead costs over a larger number of man-hours can significantly reduce the overhead cost per man-hour. However, it is crucial to remember that these are just hypothetical numbers, and actual overhead costs can vary widely depending on the specific circumstances of each shop. To accurately assess overhead costs, it is essential to track all expenses carefully and allocate them appropriately. This requires a robust accounting system that can capture all relevant data. Consider using accounting software designed for manufacturing businesses. These programs can help track costs, manage inventory, and generate financial reports. Regularly review overhead costs to identify areas for improvement. Look for opportunities to reduce expenses, such as negotiating better rates with suppliers, implementing energy-efficient practices, or streamlining processes. Benchmark your overhead costs against industry averages. This can provide valuable insights into your performance and identify areas where you may be lagging behind. Join industry associations and participate in benchmarking studies. These studies can provide valuable data on overhead costs and best practices. Seek advice from experienced business consultants who specialize in manufacturing. They can help you identify opportunities to improve efficiency and reduce overhead costs. They can also provide guidance on implementing best practices in areas such as inventory management, production planning, and quality control. When making decisions about shop size, consider the trade-offs between economies of scale and increased complexity. While larger shops can achieve lower overhead costs per man-hour, they also tend to be more complex to manage. Smaller shops may have higher overhead costs, but they can often be more nimble and responsive to customer needs. Ultimately, the optimal shop size depends on the specific goals and priorities of the business owner. Some owners may prefer the simplicity and flexibility of a smaller shop, even if it means higher overhead costs. Others may prioritize the cost advantages of a larger shop, even if it means more complex management. Consider the long-term implications of your decisions. Expanding your shop can lead to lower overhead costs, but it also requires significant investment in equipment, personnel, and infrastructure. Carefully analyze the potential benefits and risks before making any major decisions. Furthermore, explore different strategies for managing overhead costs. Implement lean manufacturing principles to eliminate waste and improve efficiency. Lean manufacturing focuses on identifying and eliminating non-value-added activities in the production process. Use techniques such as value stream mapping, 5S, and Kanban to streamline operations and reduce waste. Invest in automation to reduce labor costs and improve productivity. Automation can involve using robots, CNC machines, and other automated equipment to perform tasks that were previously done manually. Implement a preventative maintenance program to minimize downtime and repair costs. Regular maintenance can prevent equipment breakdowns and extend the life of your machinery. Negotiate favorable terms with suppliers to reduce material costs. Building strong relationships with your suppliers can lead to better pricing and service. Implement energy-efficient practices to reduce utility costs. Simple measures such as using energy-efficient lighting and appliances can significantly reduce your energy consumption. Train your employees to improve their skills and productivity. Investing in employee training can lead to higher quality work, reduced errors, and increased efficiency. Foster a culture of continuous improvement. Encourage your employees to identify and implement improvements in their work processes. Furthermore, remember that overhead costs are just one factor to consider when evaluating the profitability of your shop. Other factors, such as pricing, sales volume, and labor costs, also play a significant role. To get a complete picture of your shop's financial performance, it is essential to track all relevant metrics and analyze them regularly. This includes tracking sales revenue, cost of goods sold, gross profit margin, operating expenses, and net profit. By monitoring these metrics, you can identify trends and make informed decisions about how to improve your shop's profitability. In conclusion, while larger machine shops often benefit from economies of scale, specialization, and management efficiencies leading to lower overhead costs per man-hour, several exceptions and influencing factors exist. A comprehensive understanding of these elements, coupled with careful tracking and analysis, is crucial for optimizing shop size and managing overhead effectively. Finally, consider the impact of technology on overhead costs. Cloud-based software can reduce IT infrastructure costs and improve collaboration. Data analytics can provide insights into shop performance and identify areas for improvement. E-commerce platforms can expand your reach and generate new sales opportunities. By embracing technology, you can streamline your operations, reduce overhead costs, and improve your competitiveness.